I had always been close to my mother. She was my confidant, my best friend. So when she passed away unexpectedly, a void was left in my heart that I thought could never be filled. That was until the calls started. It began innocently enough. A faint ring would break the silence of my darkened room at exactly midnight. Groggily, I'd reach for my phone, half expecting a wrong number or a telemarketer. But every time, the caller ID displayed an unknown number. One night, fueled by a mix of curiosity and grief, I answered the call. A voice, faint and distant, greeted me on the other end. It was a voice that sent shivers down my spine, for it sounded just like my mother's. Tears welled in my eyes as the voice spoke my name and whispered words of comfort and love, just as my mother used to do. The calls became a nightly routine. I'd wait anxiously for the clock to strike midnight, eager to hear that familiar voice once again. Each time, the voice seemed stronger, as if it were bridging the gap between this world and the next. And with each call, I found solace in the belief that somehow my mother was reaching out to me from beyond. However, as the calls continued, they took a strange turn. The voice began to speak of things only my mother and I would know: childhood memories, inside jokes, secrets shared in the quiet of our home. It was as if the voice was trying to convince me that it truly was my mother on the other end. My nights grew restless as I struggled to reconcile the messages from the voice with the boundaries of reality. Friends and family grew concerned, urging me to seek professional help. But I was convinced that these calls were my lifeline to my mother, and I couldn't let go. One particularly stormy night, as the wind howled and rain battered against my window, the call came as usual. The voice sounded desperate, almost pleading. It spoke of a hidden truth, a secret that had been buried along with my mother, a truth that, if uncovered, could bring closure to both of us. With newfound determination, I began delving into my mother's past. I dug through old photo albums, read her journals, and even interviewed her closest friends. As the pieces came together, I realized that there were gaps in her life story, gaps that seemed to correspond with the voice's revelations. One fateful night, armed with the newfound knowledge, I confronted the voice. I asked questions, seeking clarity about the secrets that had haunted my mother. The voice responded, growing stronger and more urgent. It urged me to face the truth, no matter how painful. In a moment of surreal clarity, I understood. The voice wasn't just a figment of my imagination or a manifestation of grief. It was a bridge to the other side, a connection to my mother's spirit. And as I embraced the truth that the voice revealed, a sense of closure washed over me like a soothing balm. The calls ceased after that night, leaving me with a mixture of gratitude and sorrow. I had found the answers I had been seeking, but I had also come to terms with the finality of my mother's passing. The voice had guided me through a journey of healing, reminding me that the bonds of love could transcend even the boundaries between life and death.